Snipers, you have to see what's happening to the Bitcoin price today as we are seeing weekend manipulation just like we talked about yesterday with these two daily candles fully below the 200-day moving average on the daily chart for Bitcoin. Because Bitcoin's price is below the 200-day moving average right now, this is a concern. However, remember, it is the weekend. The markets are the most manipulated during the weekend due to CME futures markets being closed. And so are we here supposed to trust these two candles, or should we be looking at the candles from the weekday when Bitcoin was maintaining this 200-day moving average? Because if that's the case, this could be the trick, trap, and frustrate crew coming in on a Sunday, taking Bitcoin's price back down to form a higher low before seeing continued upside as futures markets open in 4 hours. There is a lot of action happening right now and a lot of puzzle pieces on the table. We're also going to look at what's happening to Ethereum. Notice here with Ethereum right now, we are below this channel support where in the past Ethereum has been an extremely good opportunity to long. And notice right now that we tried to come down and test this 200-day moving average on the daily chart, but we've yet to get there. We are forming this lower low, and so we've yet to see a breakdown of this formation. We do have a flaggish pattern here. Are we going to see this push back to the upside towards the monthly open if Bitcoin is able to continue its rescue operation? I want to talk about Ethereum and other altcoins. Of course, we'll look at the Ethereum and a Bitcoin chart. I do want to address this 65,000 Satoshi area that we've just broke today with our daily candle. And then we'll look at the total cryptocurrency market cap chart to look at what's happening to altcoins, because notice here, we are at this 200-day moving average with the current price action, but we've yet to see the weekly candle close. And remember, this 20-week moving average, which we consider home base, is still in play if this candle is able to push back up towards that $1.6 trillion level, where that could signal that altcoins are going to see strength. But if the body of this candle stays in these lower ranges below $1.5 trillion in market cap over the next 5 hours when this weekly candle closes, that could signal a potential test here of $1.1 trillion before seeing any sort of upside. So there's a lot happening in the markets today, but there's certainly a dip, and a lot of people get fearful when the dip comes, but when price action is bullish, they are waiting for the dip. And so I want to give you guys some rational perspectives of the market. We'll also look at the others dominance chart right now, breaking this 50-day moving average. We'll talk about Bitcoin dominance. Are we going to see more strength with altcoins or Bitcoin? That is a huge puzzle piece that I want to talk about, because now that Bitcoin dominance, notice here on the daily chart, is up, testing this 48.94% level, we're heading towards this monthly open at 50% dominance and this 50-day moving average. We could be seeing a reversal of a trend. And so we've yet to get a confirmation. I know a lot of analysts are saying altcoin season is over. We have a lot to look at today. We'll also take a look at traditional markets and what I'm expecting as they open up in a few hours. You guys are watching the Snipers channel. Remember to smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. First, I want to talk about what's happening here to Bitcoin. Of course, notice here that we still have weekend manipulation and we are below this 200-day moving average, but during the weekday, we didn't see any daily candles close below this 200-day moving average for Bitcoin. That to me says that there is still a potential that Bitcoin can see further upside. We've yet to break the previous low at 30,000 US dollars. And on the 6-hour chart, notice how much volume is down at the lower end of this range between 35,000 and 23,795. And so this is a very large range for Bitcoin to play in. And if we look at percentage-wise, we're talking about a 30% range, but we've already seen over 50% downside for Bitcoin. And for Bitcoin to come down further to test 24,000, it puts us so close to the previous all-time high, where in every cycle that Bitcoin has seen new all-time highs, we've never came down to retest the previous all-time high. So I don't know if this is the most likely scenario right now as an umpire, but we have to address it on the table. Remember, there's another way that this could play out. I talked about the scenario where we form this higher low and then we continue upwards, and that would happen during the weekend where we see the most amount of manipulation, and then by the start of next week, which is tomorrow, we could see Bitcoin back above 40,000 at that 200-day moving average. That's what we're looking for when it comes to the bullish perspective. And so we need to give Bitcoin 24 hours. If Monday opens the daily candle below 40,000, the big even at the 200-day moving average, that could be a concern. Now, inside of this pocket between 24,000 and 35,000, here's how we could expect further downside. So the first scenario of this higher low forming is on the table, but there's also a scenario, just like Ethereum did, to form a lower low. And so as long as we maintain the $30,000 to $28,000 level, if there's not enough volume to bring Bitcoin further down to 24,000, I believe this could be the scenario to play out where we find support inside of this pocket the same way that we did when we initially saw this breakdown on the 18th of May and we saw massive buyers come in. And so Bitcoin, when it's oversold and there's a lot of fear in the market, those are typically the times that the institutions and the smart money is getting in. And so we want to monitor what's happening right now. Notice how there's a lot of consolidation around the range that we're currently in. And so there is a very high potential that we start ranging here between 30 and 40,000. And at that point, we could determine whether or not there's going to be upside or downside. And so in the short to medium term, I think that we've seen the worst of it, as I've been saying. And in the long term, we can't yet decide whether or not we're going to see new all-time highs because we have a lot of resistance to cover. But for now, we need to get above 35,000 and then 38,000 once again. But more importantly, the 200-day moving average by Monday traditional markets open 9:30 a.m. bell rings. I want to see Bitcoin at 40,000 if we want to assume that this is a bear trap. And so let's look at what's happening to Ethereum, and then we'll transition into altcoins and look at the dominance chart. I know there's a lot of buzz going on about altcoin season being over. I stand with my opinion right now that Ethereum is in a buy zone below this channel. And I do believe that because we are finding some abnormal activity with Bitcoin, we're seeing Ethereum oversold right now. And when we look at the Ethereum and a Bitcoin chart, we know 65,000 Satoshi level is a major area, but the only candle so far below the 65,000 Satoshi level is on a Sunday. And so by futures markets open and really by the bell ring tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for traditional markets, I'd like to see 65,000 Satoshis for Ethereum, or else this could signal that we want to come down to test 53,500 Satoshis. And from there, we need to monitor potential trend reversal because then the 50-day moving average comes into play. And when we look at home base here for Ethereum, the 20-week moving average is far and below with the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart. And this has a massive effect on the Ethereum to US dollar chart. So with Ethereum to US dollar, I do believe we're in the buy zone once again below this channel. And it looks like if this body of the candle for this week that's closing in 5 hours can get above that $2,000 big even, that would signal a very garden variety market retest of home based at the 20-week moving average, and that typically will lead to sideways price action and higher price action because the 20-week moving average is always an important level. And so we know Ethereum is an extremely bullish asset. I don't think with ETH 2.0 coming out and EIP 1559 that it's time to say that Ethereum has entered a bear market. There's a lot of potential upside in the fundamentals and the technicals. It looks like we covered the range that we needed to cover and we are at a destination. The question is this the final destination? I think a confirmation of further downside will be below the 1760 level if we start seeing 4-hour and hourly candles below $1,760 for Ethereum. In my opinion, that could start signaling that we come down to test 1440. That's the previous all-time high. Remember, when you break an all-time high, typically don't come and test it. So is this the bottom? Is this the range to buy? As an umpire, it looks like a good opportunity while the market is in fear. Once again, when the fearful are in the market, you want to be greedy. When the greedy are in the market, you want to be fearful. And we're certainly seeing a lot of fear in the market right now. So we'll monitor Ethereum. A lot of that has to do with what Bitcoin decides to do at 30,000 or if it's able to reclaim 35,000. And we'll look at the total cryptocurrency market cap chart because this has a lot to do with altcoins. And we're going to watch this weekly close here in 5 hours. But notice here on the daily chart, on the weekend, once again, we're back at this 200-day moving average. Is this a bear trap? Are we going to see the 200-day moving average for the total market hold? That's going to include a lot of altcoins. What I really would like to see is for us to get back above $1.6 trillion because that's the 20-week moving average at home base. A close below could signal a little bit further downside, but I think there has to be a relief at some point or another. This is a very violent breakdown, and markets don't just go one way. There's always a reaction to major moves, and so expect large swings to the upside and downside is what I would say. And with others' dominance here, what we really want to monitor once again is this 20-week moving average coming up to test this multi-year support level that dates back to 2017. That's sitting at 12.2% dominance. As long as we're above 12.2% dominance, I'm not worried about altcoins. With Bitcoin dominance, we can't sit here and say that altcoin season is over when we've yet to even get above the 50-day moving average, but we are testing it right now. So with Bitcoin dominance above 50%, that's when I would start saying that there could be some signals of a trend reversal. We really want to wait for the 20-week moving average, but above the 50-day, dominance levels move fast. We want to start acting fast if we see that. And so for those tuned into the Snipers channel, you know I'll cover that. And then let's look at traditional markets as they open up in a few hours. The DXY, as long as it stays below the weekly open at 90.30, we also have confluence with the previous weekly open, which, by the way, I updated all the previous weekly opens on my charts for those that copy the numbers onto their charts. And for those that are new to the channel, all of my previous weekly opens are in green, and then red is always important support and resistance levels. And so as long as the DXY is below 90.3, I think that that's a very positive sign. I'd like to see calmness with the DXY because stability is key when it comes to the DXY. That allows assets to see price discovery, and it allows assets to be in a very calm market environment. And so as long as we're not breaking 89.562 and we're not coming above 90.3, I think the DXY has some time to go. And with the S&P 500, we did close with this bearish tail on the daily candle. Let's monitor this. Are we coming down to this 50-day moving average? Is that going to affect the cryptocurrency market? Who knows? We'll continue to monitor that. Gold closing the week, breaking out of the major resistance. We look at the gold to Bitcoin chart. It looks like it wants to come and test this 2017 top here, where the gold to Bitcoin chart found a previous bottom. Notice here, that was back in 2017. This is how we predicted the top here for those tuned in the Snipers channel. And so we want to monitor this as we start to see futures markets open, because precious metal markets will open. And with that, I appreciate each and every one of you snipers tuned into the channel. If you want to win one of my favorite books on investing, Principles by Ray Dalio, comment below, share this video. You'll have a chance to win. I want to pick a winner from our video yesterday, and then we'll wrap up this video. Let's see here. Andre Wolf says, great content as always, Naeem. We'll see what will happen after the market opens tomorrow. We certainly will. And for those that want to attend Bitcoin Miami, June 4th to June 6th, the link is in the description below. Ticket prices go up in 8 hours. I highly recommend for you to attend this if you want to educate yourself in this space. Michael Saylor will be there, Jack Dorsey, the founder of Twitter, Tony Hawk, and a lot of my friends like Jeremy Gardner, the founder of Augur, Brock Pierce, founder of EOS, Charles Hoskinson, the founder of Cardano. All of us will be there. I'd love to see you there. Bitcoin Miami, June 4th to June 6th. The link is in the description below. And with that, thank you all for tuning into the Snipers channel today. Until next time, Snipers out.